Charlotte, North Carolina can be very expensive to live in. I don't have to tell you that if you've already lived in the area. But if you're coming to the area, I want you to know that certain places are more expensive than others. And in this video, we're going to talk about the least expensive places to live in the greater Charlotte area. Now, just because it's least expensive doesn't mean you always want to live there. But I want to give you that information and let you make the decision for yourself. Let's go. If you're new to the channel, welcome. I'm Sir Ashley, and on this channel we talk about real estate, money, and the Carolinas, primarily the Charlotte region. And I help people every day. They call me, they text me, they set up an appointment through Zoom on Calendly, and we talk about buying, selling, and moving to the area. So if you're thinking about buying, selling, or moving to or within the area, do not hesitate to reach out. Now let's get into the purpose of this video. Now this list comes from niche.com, but I did verify some numbers to bring you the most accurate data when it comes to housing in these areas. Now, number 10 on this list is Marshville, North Carolina. Now, Marshville is about 45 to 50 minutes outside of Charlotte City Center, and that's not with traffic. So if you're talking about going during rush hour, it's going to be significantly longer than that. It's located in Union County, past Monroe, past Windgate, and then you get to Marshville. Now in Marshville, you will have a more affordable home, but you have to remember, those homes are going to be older homes. You have homes priced anywhere from the low 200s all the way up to 600,000, but most of the homes are going to be right around 200 to 350, $400,000 range, which if you're familiar with the area, was about the price of all the homes 10 to 15 years ago. Now, I know I mentioned that most of the homes are older. However, you can find new construction in the area. And in fact, I'm about to show on screen, you have a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, just under 1,700 square foot home that is new construction for under $350,000. Now, that may seem like a lot to some people depending on where you are in the country, but the average price here in the greater Charlotte region is right around $450,000. So to get something, especially brand new, for under $350,000 is a good thing and is a win-win. Now, Marshville does have a rural feel. Again, it's 45 to 50 minutes outside the city center of Charlotte. So yes, it doesn't have these city vibes. You're not gonna have a ton of things to do. But if we're looking for an affordable place to live, Marshville is one to consider, and a 2-bedroom rental goes for about $1,000, give or take some. Now, 9 on the list is a neighborhood in Charlotte. But before we dive into it, do me a huge favor. I talked to the people at YouTube, and I need some help from you. I need you to like this video and leave a comment. You don't have to say anything extravagant. You just can type in the comment section, hey, I like this video. That way this content and more of my content can be shown to the masses. I appreciate you, and it allows me to make more videos to educate you about the greater Charlotte area. Now, number 9 on the list is Oakview Terrace. That is a neighborhood in Charlotte. Now, Oakview Terrace is in zip code 28216. Now, that is not far from the city center of Charlotte, and it is conveniently located. You have quick access to Brookshire Boulevard, which Brookshire really takes you straight into uptown, and you have access to the highways, 485 and 85, not a far distance away. So you might be wondering, it's in Charlotte, it's conveniently located. Why or how is it one of the most cost-effective or least expensive places to live in Charlotte? Well, it's going through a gentrification process. You have homes anywhere from $250,000 to $600,000, but you can get homes, I'm about to show one on the screen right now, for $270,000, a 4-bedroom, just under 1,400 square feet. And according to niche.com, overall, Oakview Terrace gets a grade of C. It gets a B- for public schools, a C for housing, a C+ for families, B- for diversity, and a B- for nightlife. But I wanted to provide some contrast for you, because if you do not want to be 45 to 50 minutes out, not including rush hour traffic, you can go to Marshville. But if you want it to be in Charlotte and convenient to everything at an affordable cost, Oakview Terrace might be a place you want to look at. Moving on to number 8 on the list, and it is Landis, North Carolina. Now, Landis is in Rowan County. Rowan County is the north of Charlotte. It goes Mecklenburg County, which is the county Charlotte resides in, and then you have Cabarrus County, which is a little north of Mecklenburg County. And then above that, you have Rowan County, and that is where Landis is. Now, Landis is about 40 to 45 minutes outside the city center of Charlotte. Now, that does not account for traffic. 85 is a parking lot during rush hour. It always seems like there's some kind of construction going on when you're going up north or coming down south, passing through Cabarrus and Rowan County. But when you talk about cost of living, this is where you get a lot of bang for your buck. You see, you can get homes in Landis anywhere. Now, you do have expensive homes in Landis, but you can get homes typically in Landis anywhere from about $240,000 to $350,000 to $400,000. And I'm about to put a couple properties on the screen. You can see where there is a single family home that was built in 2018. That is a 3-bedroom, 2.5 bath, 1,500 square feet, asking $310,000. If you look at this home, you can tell that it is fenced in and it is a very good deal for the price, especially when you consider what $310,000 gets you in Charlotte. Now, let's say you don't want a single family home. If you're okay living in a townhome, you have some 3-bedroom, 2-bath townhomes that are going for $260,000 right here in Landis, North Carolina. Brand new construction. And those of you who are unaware, either you live in the area and just not familiar with Rowan and Cabarrus County, or if you're not living in the area and not familiar, Cabarrus County is actually becoming a hub. There's tons of infrastructure moving to the area, as well as jobs, restaurants. So if you're looking for something that is cost efficient and in the future will have tons of amenities around it, I can't guarantee anything, but I believe Landis is a nice location for you to have a residence and to build around. Now, we're whittling our way down. Moving on to number 7 on the list. Now, I know this may seem like I'm going over a lot of information, so feel free to pause it and save this video for you to refer to later on. But I want to make sure you understand that there are places in the greater Charlotte area that are affordable. Now, some of them are very convenient and you got to weigh the pros and cons of that. And some of the locations are a little further out and you have to weigh the pros and cons of that as well. But number 7 on the list is a town and a community that I've talked about a lot, that I think is one of the most up and coming areas, because I see where all the permits are being pulled, and there's tons of permits being pulled in this town. And it is York, South Carolina. You also have major builders, just about every single one of them in York, South Carolina. York, South Carolina is located in York County, South Carolina. And you can get homes in this area, talking about new construction homes, anywhere from $300,000 all the way up to $550,000. But what is beautiful about this is we're talking about an up and coming area. You'll have all your conveniences. You have your Lowe's, you have your Walmart. There's tons of restaurants coming to the area as well. And you have one of the most extravagant high schools in the area. Now, according to niche.com, overall, York gets a B as a total grade. It gets a B in public schools, a B in housing, a B for good for families, an A+ in diversity, a C in nightlife, and a C+ in crime and safety. Now, it is a little further away. It is more remote, so it's totally understandable why it gets a C in nightlife. But if you're looking for a lot of bang for your buck, I am telling a lot of people to look at York, South Carolina, because I believe the value's there and I see the growth that is coming to the area. Now let's move on to number 6 on the list, and it is located just outside of Charlotte, and it's located just outside of one of the most popular suburbs of Charlotte. I'm talking about Riverview. Now, Riverview is a part of Fort Mill, South Carolina. Now, you may be wondering, Fort Mill, isn't that an expensive place to live? But let's take a look at Riverview. Now, according to niche.com, Riverview has excellent rankings overall, with its lowest ranking being a C+ in diversity. Overall, it comes in at an A-. Public schools, A+. Again, Fort Mill and York County in general, South Carolina has the top 4% public schools in our country. Now, Fort Mill and Tegakay have the most excellent schools in York County, but York County as a whole comes in strong when it comes to public schools. Housing, you get a B+. It's an A for good families, a B for nightlife, and as I said before, a C+ for diversity. Now, homes right now, the homes in Riverview are typically older. They're going to be homes that are on larger lots, and they're not going to be that big. You can get a 3-bedroom, 2-bath home, which I'm showing on the screen right now, for under $370,000, but it is just over 1,200 square feet. Now, it has been renovated on the inside, but it's still a smaller home, but it might be that sacrifice you need to get into the area with excellent schools so you can put your kids in an excellent school district. Now we've made it to the top 5 most cost-effective areas in the greater Charlotte region to live. And number 5 is Smallwood. Smallwood is a neighborhood located in Charlotte, North Carolina proper. Now, Smallwood is right in between Biddlesville and Enderley Park. Roswell's Ferry goes right through Smallwood. It's zip code 28208 and 28216. Now, this area is going through gentrification right now. So right now, presently, it's on one of the most affordable areas to live in the greater Charlotte area. In the next 2 to 3 years, I don't think that's going to be the case, because we're already seeing some townhouses and single family homes going in the area, talking about prices being $500,000 to $700,000, which will not make it on this most affordable or cost-effective list. You can find homes in this area. They may be a little dated, not extremely dated. I'm talking about built in the 90s, and they're going to be about 1,200 to 1,500 square feet, and you can get them for under $450,000, which, as I mentioned earlier, as far as the average price in the greater Charlotte area, and we're talking about Charlotte proper, is still a very good deal. It is centrally located, and you have easy access to 77 and 85 right here in this Smallwood community. I'm actually excited to see what comes to this area in the coming year to 2 years. Now let's move on to number 4 on the list. Now, number 4 on the list takes us back to Union County. Remember, Marshville was in Union County. Now, this area is just a little closer to Charlotte than Marshville. I'm talking about Windgate, North Carolina. Now, Windgate, North Carolina is in Union County, and the homes are typically older homes. Now, you will see some new construction one-offs, but most of the homes in this area are going to be older homes, and you can get homes in this area for anywhere from $250,000 to about $400,000, which is a very good price, and you get more land the further you're away from the Charlotte city center. So you get more land, and the homes are cheaper, and you're in Union County, and Union County as a whole has some of the better public schools in North Carolina. And surprisingly enough, Windgate, North Carolina is actually the 58th most diverse suburb in North Carolina. And Windgate actually gets very good rankings on niche.com. Overall, it gets an A-, it's a B for public schools, B+ for housing, B+ being good for families, an A for diversity, a B for nightlife, and a C+ for crime and safety. Now, number 3 on the list. Can you believe it? We're in the top 3. Thank you for staying with me. I greatly appreciate it. If you stay with me this long, I want you to know, in the description, I have something for you. There is a link to a resource guide talking about all the schools in the different areas here in the greater Charlotte area. Go ahead, download it. It is for your enjoyment, so you can just learn about the different locations in addition to these videos that I make for you. Now let's talk about number 3. Number 3 is India Hook, South Carolina. Now, it is a part or an unincorporated part of Rock Hill, South Carolina, and you have homes that are older, but you get a lot of bang for your buck. What I mean by that, I'm showing up on the screen right now. You have a 3-bedroom, 2-bath home, just under 1,500 square feet, for under $325,000. And here's another home in India Hook, South Carolina. As you see, it has a Rock Hill address, but again, under $340,000. You have a 3-bedroom, 2-bath home, just over 1,300 square feet. And according to niche.com, you have high ratings throughout. Overall, it gets an A. It gets a B+ for public schools, A for housing, A for good for families, a B for diversity, and a B- for nightlife. Now, it is a suburb, and its population, according to niche, is just under 4,400 people. And overall, in its rankings for South Carolina, India Hook, now the unincorporated part of Rock Hill, is number 3 as best places to buy a home in South Carolina, and number 2 suburb to buy a home in South Carolina. It is a steal. It's a gem that many people don't look at because it's not one of those fancy names and you don't have those big luxurious houses. But when you talk about bang for your buck, India Hook is a great place to look at. Now let's move on to number 2 on the list. Number 2 on the list is Leslie, South Carolina. Now Leslie is an unincorporated part of Rock Hill, South Carolina. Now, what have we learned so far on this list? You can get some very good deals around Rock Hill, South Carolina. You have York, you have India Hook, you have Leslie. Now, there's not a lot of inventory for homes in Leslie, but based on historical data, Leslie is a very good place to live. And according to niche.com, it gets a B overall. You get a B for public schools, an A- for housing, because housing is very affordable. But again, not many homes come to market in Leslie, and when they do, they are older, although you get larger portions of land. Now, when I mean older, I'm talking about modular homes that were built in the 80s or 90s. Now, you do get some site-built homes, but those are typically going for about $400,000 to $450,000, and as I said, the median price home in the Charlotte area is right around $450,000, so you're not really getting a deal there. But if you're okay with a modular home or an older home and on a very tight budget, Leslie, South Carolina is a place you should consider. Now, the number 1 place that is the most affordable area in the greater Charlotte region is Catawba, South Carolina. Now, Catawba is also an unincorporated part of Rock Hill, South Carolina. Now, it is very, very cost effective to live here, with housing going anywhere from $50,000 to $200,000. But with that comes a lot of deferred maintenance and an older home. But there's not much inventory, just like there wasn't much inventory in Leslie, South Carolina, because where else are you going to move and get something that is comparable? Nowhere in this area. So people rarely sell their homes in that area. But if you find something or find a good tract of land, it will be valuable to build something there or to buy that home, in my opinion, because the cost of living is very reasonable. And overall, niche.com ranks Catawba, South Carolina as an A-. Gets a B for public schools, a B+ for housing, a B+ being good for families, C+ for nightlife because it's a rural town. There's not much to do at all. I'm actually surprised that it gets a C+, and an A- for diversity. And it only has a population of about 1,500 people. So it is a very small town. But if you're looking for a place that is the most affordable in the greater Charlotte region, Catawba, South Carolina is where you want to be. So there you have it. A top 10 list of the most affordable areas to live in the greater Charlotte area. Now, we'll be making a video talking about the most affordable places to live in Charlotte proper, but this incorporates the greater Charlotte area, which includes about 16 of the surrounding counties in and around Charlotte. So I hope this was helpful, and remember, I have a link in the description with a resource for you to download that goes in depth about the Charlotte area and talks about schools, the communities, and what you can look for and expect in each of those communities. I'm Sir Ashley, your trusted real estate advisor, and if you're looking to buy, sell, or invest in North or South Carolina, please reach out to my team and I. Thank you again, and talk to you soon.